Hi, everyone. I'm Jean Sachs. I'm the CEO of Living Beyond Breast Cancer. Today, we're going to talk about Tecentriq, an immunotherapy that had accelerated FDA approval for metastatic triple-negative breast cancer and was given in combination with certain kinds of chemotherapy in people whose tumors expressed PD-L1. Recently, Tecentriq was voluntarily withdrawn for use by its maker, Genentech. It remains approved in Europe and in some other countries, but this withdrawal means health insurances may no longer pay for the treatment of Tecentriq for metastatic triple-negative breast cancer, even if it is currently working for you. So since the withdrawal, we've heard reports from our community, from people who are taking Tecentriq for metastatic triple negative, and the drug is working, and their doctors are now taking them off and putting them on another approved immunotherapy called Keytruda. We know this type of change can be very stressful for people who are using medicine that is working well. So today we are very fortunate to be talking with Gina Spradling, a woman who is living with metastatic triple-negative breast cancer. She's also a current member of our Hear My Voice advocacy program. And she's going to share her story, which I think will give everybody some practical tips and some hope. So welcome, Gina.
Yes, thank you so much, Jean.
We're so happy to have you. So as I mentioned, you have metastatic triple-negative breast cancer. When you were diagnosed, please tell us a little bit about when you were diagnosed and what your treatment has been so far.
Okay. Primary diagnosis was back in July of 2019. And in November of 2020, I was diagnosed as metastatic with metastasis to the liver and bones, and biopsy proven to be triple-negative metastatic breast cancer. At that time, we did the whole genomic testing and were able to find that I was exactly 1% PD-L1 positive.
Wow.
So that made me a candidate for treatment with Tecentriq plus Abraxane. Abraxane is the chemotherapy that they partner with Tecentriq. And I started that therapy combination in December of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I've responded really well to this first line of treatment. I'm still on this first line of treatment. I have completed now 11 cycles. After cycle 6, I had no evidence of active disease.
That's amazing.
It's been fantastic for me, and it's come with very few side effects, or at least manageable side effects, I should say. So I've felt very fortunate to be responding so quickly and completely to this drug regimen.
So I can only imagine how you felt when you heard the news about Tecentriq being pulled.
Absolutely. I found out about Tecentriq being pulled in late August. I was actually traveling with my family for a wedding, and I happened to see a post in a newly diagnosed metastatic Facebook group that I'm part of. And someone had posted about this, and it was the first time I had heard of it. And it immediately sent me into what do I do now mode? What does this mean, this voluntary withdrawal? Why did it happen? And what comes next? And so that was immediately what I started to do. I started to take a look at, okay, what does this really mean? So outside of Facebook, I started to Google, looking for news articles, press releases, any information about why the indication for metastatic triple-negative breast cancer was pulled for Tecentriq. That was easily found, and I was able to find that this did happen. And my first call was to Genentech to understand the process and why. And I really got some great information during that call. They bounced me around a little bit. I talked to a few different people, But what was reassuring is I talked to one of the pharmacists there. He explained to me the entire reason why the indication was pulled. And he also explained to me that the drug itself was not pulled, which is what I was worried about is, wow, has the drug itself been pulled and can I no longer get access to that?
Mhm.
He also gave me some really practical advice explaining that, my oncologist could continue to prescribe it off label.
Right.
So that was really great information for a layperson like myself. As the patient, you don't always understand all of the available options and things that can come together to be able to continue a particular treatment. So I was armed with that information, which was great. That led to conversations with my oncology team. And my oncologist did not at all ever consider abandoning this course of treatment for me because I was having such a positive response. What I've heard in a lot of, on Twitter and in my Facebook groups, some oncologists took this indication, the withdrawal of the indication, as a mandate to remove these patients from this treatment option. I was very fortunate. Plus, I also push a lot. So I was fortunate that my oncologist did not interpret it that way. She very much wanted to keep me on the same line of treatment and explained to me that she would do whatever it took to advocate on my behalf with my insurance company if it meant peer-to-peer review of that sort of thing. She said, we've got enough documentation. We've got the original clinical trials that showed the efficacy of the drug in this patient population. We also have your personal experience, how you have responded thus far. And she said, that's how I'll fight this with your insurance company. So she assured me we would stay the course. In the meantime, I also was able to find out from Genentech that if something did happen, that my insurance company would not continue to provide coverage. Genentech has a patient foundation that you can apply for assistance to receive the drug either at no cost or a reduced cost if you do not have access to the drug through your insurance or you cannot afford it. What was great about contacting them, even though I didn't need the service and my insurance company is continuing to pay, they went ahead and set up a profile for me and got the ball rolling in case my insurance company was to deny this request. So we were able to get all of that in line as well. So as the patient who, it was a gut punch when I found out that this happened, it was very comforting to know that I've got my oncology team on board. They're set up, they're ready to go. They're going to fight for me. And now I've got Genentech who's going to come up with a plan B for me for, perhaps being able to be approved through their patient foundation for financial assistance to receive the drug if I needed it.
Well, it sounds like you did everything right, and you got all the information you needed. You went back to your doctor and you set things up. So it is great to hear that this worked out so well for you. And what we hope is for those that are listening, they really take these tips that you just have to be proactive. Call Genentech. We will give you that number. We'll also have it posted to get more information. And you're right, this drug was not pulled from the market. It's actually approved in many, many other disease states. So it is certainly available, which is different when a drug is pulled and is no longer in use for other therapies. So let me just give everybody this number. So if you're taking Tecentriq and you have questions about your health insurance coverage, you can reach out to Genentech directly. It's their patient resource center, and it's 877-436-3683. Again, we will post that as well. So Gina, because you were successful, and I'm assuming, did you miss any treatments or were you able to stay on course completely?
I did not miss any treatments at all.
That's great.
It was fortunate the timing of all of this happened on a natural 1 week break that I have every cycle. So that gave me a little bit of additional time to make all of these phone calls, gain the reassurance that, I was able to continue. I even made a phone call, I failed to mention this, to my insurance carrier.
Mhm.
My health insurance carrier provides me as a cancer patient a nurse navigator
Mhm.
at the insurance company. And so I got her on board too, to find out exactly what the process would be and what we needed to do. And it aligned very closely with the path that my oncologist was intended to take to get
Right.
me continued approval for this treatment regimen.
That's great. So it is important to reach out to all directions, your provider, your insurance, the manufacturer. And we understand this is stressful. You're living with metastatic breast cancer. That is stressful in and of itself. You don't want to miss your treatment. So you're very calm today, but I'm sure when this all happened, there was some panic.
A definite panic. I literally was in tears when I read this. It felt very much like a lifeline for me was being taken away.
Mm-hmm.
And I immediately went into advocate mode.
Yeah.
What do I need to do to advocate for myself? Because going off of this drug is not an option.
Yes.
And that is really what I hope that, people listening to this will take away from this conversation, is that you're your own best advocate. And even though we don't know all the terminology, we don't know how all the pieces always necessarily fall together, we can figure it out. And you just start at the top. Don't be afraid to call the manufacturer.
Right.
Get those answers, get that information, get your oncology team on board, get your insurance carrier on board. Leave no stone unturned.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Gina, for sharing your story. And we are so pleased things worked out well. For anyone who is facing this situation, we hope this was helpful. I think Gina is an example of someone who was able to figure this out and continue to get access to this really critical therapy. I want to just remind everyone that Living Beyond Breast Cancer's website is always available. We also have closed Facebook pages. So if you'd like a more immediate support, just go onto our website and we'll join you with one of those groups. So thank you, Gina, and have a great day.
Thank you.